Okay, and we are live. Took a second there. All right, so we are going to be reviewing today The Irishman. This one I had to watch a couple times just because it took me a couple of watches to kind of get a grasp of what I was watching. Just mainly for me because I hadn't seen like known the story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, and I do want to mention before we get it in, before we go, I have some stuff that I'm going to talk about after this, some channel news, just some stuff, updates and changes and all that stuff. I'll go over all that after the review. So, what are your thoughts on this movie?
Well, I mean, I watched it a while ago, and it's a Netflix movie. So anyway, I loved the movie.
Mm,
Okay,
yeah.
and
Okay.
basically uh, it comes from a book called "I Heard You Paint Houses,"
Yeah,
and
I forgot about
yeah,
that.
and there's when you hear you'll hear the line in the movie, a few times.
Mhm.
But anyway, it's um, oh, I'm
No,
repeating that.
no, it's that thing. I just was pulling up the thing to send to you.
So it has a cast like sent from heaven.
Yeah, I
Uh,
know.
it does. I mean, you got Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, Joe Pesci, Ray Romano. Uh, well, there's some that I don't know, but I know their
Anna
faces.
Paquin's in it as well, but she doesn't have a lot of lines. I really was hoping to see more of her.
Well, I'd like to discuss that a bit,
Mm,
but the movie is about a truck driver who becomes a hitman involved with mobster Russell Buffalino and his crime family. So it's based on fact. It's um, it was a lot of it was about Jimmy Hoffa, the Teamster union president, Jimmy Hoffa,
hmm
who went missing at some point, and which is a factual thing in history. But now to go back to Anna Paquin,
Paquin.
I'm Paquin, yeah.
hmm
There was some discussion, critical discussion about why she's an award-winning actress,
hmm
right? And for those who don't know that name, they might know her from True Blood, where
Yeah.
she played Sookie Stackhouse.
Yeah, and she's also Rogue and X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so she's a big name, and so when asked about it, Martin Scorsese and Robert De Niro both said that the fact that her silence was so powerful.
yeah, that's the thing, and that's what everybody was saying about that as well. She didn't need the lines.
She didn't.
She maybe like it wasn't that wasn't the point. She was could still pull off this strong, powerful presence and role,
Yes.
and it's not easy to get a point across by just having a look. She's not
Right.
speaking to her father, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He's done things to this family, and then she's not gonna forgive him, and she's wants nothing to do with him, and she literally keeps she will pretty much her whole childhood up until she was pretty brief with him because she knew that there was something up with him, but she wasn't sure. And then once
Yeah.
Jimmy went missing, that did it. Like that was it. She never
Yes.
spoke to him again after that. So they needed an actress to be able to pull off giving just having this emotion, with that that it would take to pull off that role.
Oh yeah, and she did it. It was it was a success as far as I mean her role was done exactly the way that role was supposed to be done. So um, I mean, she didn't have to take the part either. So, but she obviously recognized the importance of the part.
Mhm.
Um, her sister, the one that played her sister in it, at the end of the movie, she said, he was going on, I don't know why, they don't, she doesn't speak to me, and she won't have anything to do with me. And he said, all I did was protect her, and everything I did was to protect her. And she said, you just don't get it. She said, you actually took our protection away
Yeah, yeah.
because we couldn't go to you with things that were troubling us, or that if we were hurt or by someone or bullied by someone, because we didn't know what uh, you would do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because they showed a scene. Remember when she was pushed by somebody, like shoved by
A
a
grocery store guy?
grocery store clerk, and he beats him up right there in the
Oh
street,
yeah,
and
right in front of her.
yeah,
And it was a brutal beating. It
yeah,
wasn't just like a little fight or anything. No, it was brutal.
yeah,
And for to a little girl, that would have been absolutely horrifying,
yeah.
right? It would have changed her
Oh, that
forever.
would have been, yeah, and she now with this cast, what I liked about this is the fact that they were able to. I find when a lot of these movies, when there's too many good stars, it can be a bad movie. Like it's like the too many cooks in the kitchen rule. You know what I mean? There's so many. I'll be like, oh my gosh, did you see this star-studded movie coming out? And then it'll get like a 20% on or for a rating.
Yeah,
It'd be
yeah.
a terrible movie. And this one was like all these amazing actors, very powerful people, and was able to pull off this amazing movie, which is very rare. And also, um, oh, what was I gonna say about this? The There was this part that I wanted to in the begin. What did you think of the aging the aging anti aging software that they use, de aging?
Yeah, whatever it is.
Yeah, they used a
I didn't,
different
to be
type.
honest with you, I didn't realize that they had done it.
Well, I noticed it right away just because my only issue with it was the fact that they had old face or younger faces on these older bodies in some of the scenes, and it looked really weird in some of the scenes. I noticed it really right away in the earlier scenes when they first were thinking back, and when he was first meeting the Joe Pesci character. I can't remember his name,
Yes,
but
Russell.
Russell, yeah, Russ.
Russell Buffalo. Yeah.
But like that was one issue for me, and the scene, like you could tell, yeah, I could see it a lot when he was beating up the guy that pushed his daughter. Like it was like this older guy with a younger face. It took me out a bit. In this movie, I was really worried too because I hate Netflix movies. I like their shows, but they have horrible movies, and I was worried. I was like, this is gonna be a 3.5 hour movie that I'm gonna have to sit and watch, and I have not yet seen a Netflix movie that I was happy with. They're all terrible.
Really?
I hate them all.
I really like them.
This
I
is the
like the
only
Netflix
one I
movies.
liked.
Well, now this movie is over 3 hours
Yeah,
long.
it's
It's
a
what
little bit.
280
It's
minutes.
long, and I do feel it. Like but there's things it's that if you were trying to short it down, you couldn't. You can't shave anything out. It was all valuable time. There wasn't
Oh
anything
yeah,
that you could take out. Whereas
no, there isn't.
there's certain movies that I mean, okay, let's take an example of um oh, Kill Bill director there, what's his name?
Quentin Tarantino.
Quentin Tarantino. Okay, people think I'm crazy, but I'm not a fan of Quentin Tarantino. I literally have two movies by him that I like, and I can't rewatch them because they don't have rewatch ability for me. They're get like I find his movies are very like I find he's very like self-indulgent and pretentious kind of, and his movies are just long and boring. And
You don't like Kill Bill?
I liked Kill Bill a little bit. I liked it enough
I loved
that
it.
I was really into it when it came out. But then when I tried to rewatch it again with Sasha, I couldn't. I just couldn't do it. Now I like Kill Bill and I like Pulp Fiction. That's pretty much it.
Yeah,
And I tried to sit through Once
yeah.
Upon a Time in Hollywood. Now those are movies that are just long to be long. You know, like I just feel like for these Martin Scors I can never pronounce his last name. Scorsese.
Martin Scorsese? Yeah.
Scorsese, yeah.
Martin Scorsese,
These
yeah.
his movies I find have they're actually I haven't seen a lot of his movies, but
Well, they're very high quality.
hmm
He spares nothing like for for authenticity and so on and now it has been uh, the National Board of Review has named it the best film of the year.
yeah.
Time magazine has named it the second best film of the year.
What would be the first? I wonder.
I don't know what Time named as first the best movie of the year, but it was named second best of the year. Um, and the thing is, yeah, you were talking about how you see a star-studded cast and you're all, this is going to be so good, and a lot of times they're just simply not. There's a difference though because of the quality of the actors. Just because they're star-studded doesn't mean that these actors are much quality, okay, as far as their acting is concerned,
Hmm
right? Whereas in this, these are tried and true actors that aren't necessarily, the biggest box office draw or whatever, but they're known to be of the finest caliber of actor.
Yeah, they
So
are.
they would not be in a film that was second rate. Okay. Now, the only exception to that, I mean, like you got Joe Pesci, who's been in something like for Home Alone.
Yeah, but he never plays a good guy, I don't think. Yeah.
I
I,
don't think so
I
either.
think he's always a villain.
Yeah. And then, oh, what's the main actor's name?
Robert De Niro
The Robert De Niro.
and then Al Pacino was really good.
And
He
I
looked
mean,
different.
Al Pacino really didn't even look like Al
No, I
Pacino.
know. I was just gonna say that they changed him up so much. He looked like a totally different person.
Yes, he did. He plays Jimmy Hoffa.
And I don't see. I knew the name somewhere, but I didn't know who that was. So this whole
You
thing
didn't know
really
who Jimmy Hoffa was?
no, no.
Oh, Jimmy Hoffa was like a rock star
Mhm.
in at that time,
Mhm.
and there was all the the Kennedys were in power at the time in the States, and um, he didn't like them at all, and
No.
he did at first. I think even in the movie, I think that they pushed to have Kennedy as president, and then all of a sudden they turned on him, and there's you can there's all kinds of theories as to what might have happened, in regards, did they have something to do with their assassinations? Who knows,
Mhm.
right? But there was certainly bad blood, and they had the power and the money to do something about it. And so I don't know,
Okay.
but you
Uh,
know,
we we got a person on here saying something. You guys saw this movie called The Upside with Kevin Hart. It's based on a true story. On a true story. It came out on 2017. No, I haven't seen that one. This is
gee whiz,
The Upside.
I did see
Is
that.
that about this story? I might have. Let me look. I'm googling it
I'm
now.
trying to think. I'm trying to think because I did see the upside. Um,
I might
I
have.
thought I
I
did.
just don't remember. Oh no, but I remember hearing about
Oh,
this.
It has Bryan Cranston in it.
Yeah, I remember hearing
Yeah,
about this.
I did see that. Yeah, I did see it. That was a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but anyway, no, I
Yeah.
mean, the thing is that this is a historical film. It shows an in-depth look into the lives of maybe people that you didn't really know. I mean, like I know you didn't know who Jimmy
No,
Hoffa
I
was,
didn't.
but most people, say of my age or whatever, would know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
They would know. People my age older would know who they were, and it's like they showed it in the end. That woman that was looking after him didn't even know who Jimmy
Yeah,
Hoffa
no, she
was,
didn't. And
right?
I recognize that actress from, she was in Orange is the New Black. She was,
Yeah,
so they had even basic little roles like that were people that you knew. Like it was, and the whole style of this was so different, and the music there wasn't too much of a of a track, like a not there wasn't like a bunch of background music and stuff. They managed to try to make you feel what something for these characters, without like a bunch of music in the background. But they had some good music in it. Like they had some music of that time,
yeah,
of course, and I recognized a lot of it. But the reviews have gone down. They were staying at 100% for a while, but right now they're at 96, and 8 for critics, and 86 for audience. And I think that and it's playing at theaters in some locations. And I don't know if I could do
yeah.
it
It
in
did.
theater, just because that'd be a long time to sit without a break. If they had intermission like they used to have way back in the day, it'd be a totally different
Well, I
story.
remember when there was intermission at the theaters, and it was much better, much
Oh
better.
yeah, it was so much better back then. I remember those days, and then it went away pretty soon. I mean, you could go, and you would think that that would do theater some good too, because you get up and you might want to go buy like some more popcorn or
Oh
refresh
yeah.
a drink, maybe buy some candy or something. It doesn't make sense why they would get rid of or try to get rid of the intermission.
Of course, they give free refills,
Not
right?
anymore.
They don't anymore.
Nope,
Okay.
not
So
anymore.
there's no excuse then now why they shouldn't do that. And then you could have, these epic films play at theaters where, and you could be comfortable, right?
Mhm.
Um, rather than sitting there almost busting yourself because, they give these huge, pops and whatever. And you got to go, right?
Mm.
So, and you miss part of the film because you have no other choice. You got to leave. And but um, to me, it would make they wonder why they're not having they're having a tough time of it.
I
Well,
know.
it's because it's not comfortable.
No, no, especially if you want to go see a long movie like
Yeah.
Endgame, where you don't want to miss any of it because you don't know what you're you're gonna. I was so uncomfortable at the theater, and I thought eventually I was like, I don't want to be miserable, uncomfortable watching this movie, so I got up and I just went quickly, but still, then I came back and I looked up. There's this thing online that you can look up that tells you best times you can go in certain movies.
Yeah.
And so, because there's no intermissions, there's certain things though, like both this movie or this basic lifestyle, because this is a true story. Why
Yeah.
would somebody choose this lifestyle? But looking over your shoulder all the time, I can't understand why they would do this life, like do this for them to themselves and their families. I don't get it.
Well, it's money for one
But
thing.
still, is it worth it?
Well,
Not for
to some
me.
people, no, not for you, not for me, but for some people, that they kind of liked it. Also, you got to think this is the United States, okay? and gangsters were viewed as heroes,
Yeah, that's true. And
right?
they all
And
were very, very close unless you crossed them. And like they were all so friendly to each other and loving and and nice and you think everybody treats you like your family until something goes wrong and you
yeah,
cross.
and then they slit your throat.
Yeah, and they'll shoot you in the face walking down the street. I mean,
Yeah,
remember that scene? Oh yeah, I want to talk about that dry that dry cleaner or that laundromat scene. And he wants to take out that laundromat, or remember that part? And then he ends up going and shooting that guy right in the face on the street. Oh
oh yeah,
man.
I did. Yeah, yeah, he did. But and that's they just all they had to have was suspicion,
Mhm.
right? Just that was all there was. They took no chances, right? And so all you needed was suspicion against you,
Yep.
and they would, that was enough to kill you. They were not going to take any chances.
Um,
And the thing is, what got me was Jimmy Hoffa, who,
I loved him in this though. He made me laugh at some
oh, he's
parts.
a great character. He's a great character, right? And but Jimmy Hoffa knew who these people were.
Mhm.
He knew what they would do, and he still would not bend.
Nope.
When he asked him at the end, look, just back out. No, this is my union,
Mhm.
and that's it. And he would not back off, and he ends up dead.
Yep.
And it was like, I cannot believe that, because to me he just went missing, right? Because that's what history shows. I don't think that there's been any. They've never found his body or anything. I don't think. And
No, but yeah, this guy did a deathbed confession of and that's where this came from. This movie of killing him.
who gave the deathbed confession?
The Irishman here, the guy, did he gave a confession.
Because those guys came to him and asked him, and he refused to answer.
Well, from what I was reading, it was a he it was a popular. You can even look it up. He gives like
Yeah.
yeah some confession, but on yeah like right at the end of his life. I mean,
Hmm.
why not? At that
But
point,
yeah, who
he was
cares?
already in prison. Oh man.
And all of his friends were gone. Russell was gone, but they were all dead.
He was brutal though. That like when he went in and killed that guy right in front of his daughter in the middle of the restaurant in the middle of the day, and
Yeah.
he was explaining about what kinds of like what kind of weapons to use. Like you don't want to use one or you want to use one that's loud enough to scare people away, but you don't want to use one that's so loud that it's going to bring the police. Like he had like
Yeah.
this an in-depth plans and stuff. Crazy.
Yeah. Because there has to be a certain amount of fear
Yeah.
that you have to induce, right? And because they want people, to be afraid of them, but they don't want to attract too much attention for the law.
Hmm.
But that's how they operated. But I mean, back at that time, like in Chicago, that was, because you had, there was, before that was Al Capone. You know, there's all these gangsters, and they've been romanticized, by the American media
Oh yeah,
for
so bad.
for what, 75 years or more. And Bonnie and Clyde.
The
There's all these things.
Godfather and all. Yeah.
The Godfather, yeah. The Sopranos,
Hmm.
you name it, right? It's been romanticized, and people just eat that stuff up, right? They do, uh, especially Americans.
Hmm.
It's all about guns, and it's about that type of thing, right? But as a Canadian, I find it interesting.
This one should really kind of should put it in your face what it's really all about. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah. And these people became like family to each other, and like Russell and Ed were like two peas in a pod, you know. Um, they were like family. They had their wives and them went everywhere on little trips
Hmm. Yep, and
and
the beginning scenes was, when he was just talking in the nursing home and about, and then just going on telling the story. And
hmm
his wives were not a very big part of this, but they were saying from what people are saying is that they wanted, that was kind of how the times were, they like women were just kind of like more kept to themselves, and but they were still very big part in the picture, but they weren't as big as they are today, you know what I mean? But it's like,
well, his wife, um, Russell, Russell's wife, she was the a mafia queen.
yeah. But like I got confused at some part because I remember him saying he got a divorce. But did that, like, remember he said my
Are you
divorce?
talking about Ed? You're talking about Ed,
um yeah,
main character.
Ed.
Yeah, he did. He got a divorce
But then he was shown with his wife like throughout the whole movie, and I got confused about, did he get divorced?
because his wife, his first wife, and his new one
Oh,
were
right,
still
it was a
friendly.
new one. I could, yeah, right, it was a different
They were
one.
still friendly. They were
Yes,
friendly.
I got, yeah.
They get along great.
That's so weird. I can't even imagine.
Well,
It was funny. That's like they can go out and kill and all this stuff, but can't smoke in the car.
yeah, yeah, yeah. They pick and choose what they were offended by, and but they
We'll
didn't
go
mind.
kill somebody's throat, but don't smoke. Whatever you
Yeah, they
do.
torture them. They torture them, do the worst things they could ever do to somebody.
So you
But don't
remember?
smoke.
Do you remember this scenario, like, or this Jimmy Hoffa being missing and stuff, and it being a big deal? Like, you remember that whole thing? Cause how old would you have
No,
been?
I would have
That,
been too little. I
cause
was
you,
alive, but I mean,
cause
I was too young. I was
yeah.
born in 62, at the
Mhm.
end of 62, right? So, by the time 1970 came, I was like 7 years old. So this was happening like from the 50s, right? Because
Mhm.
the John F. Kennedy was president, and you know, working up, right? I don't remember this time, but because of my age, I've seen a lot of shows and stuff that had to do with that era, right? So that's why I'm familiar,
Mhm. Yeah.
with what was what was happening, what type of of lifestyle they led, and you know, you'd never know. I mean, the thing is, they didn't live some opulent lifestyle,
No.
right? You would never know that they probably had a lot of money in their bank account,
Really?
right? Oh yes, they would have. Um, they were getting paid. Like, why else would you do that? You know, and a lot of it had to do with power. Yeah, but it's hard to have power without money,
Yeah.
right? And because money, well, really, money is just protection, right? That's all that money is, right? Protects you from starving to death, and you know, so on and so forth. And so, but in order to be protected in a lifestyle like that, you would have to have lots of money, because all those people that they had, that with guns and whatever, I mean, they have to be paid,
Uh-huh. Yeah, well then it wouldn't be
right?
cheap.
Yes, and so they got money from offering protection to businesses, right? So you
Oh.
pay us a certain percentage of of whatever your take is every month or whatever, and we'll protect your business. A lot of times, of course, they went in and ransacked those businesses and then offered the protection. So, oh, you need protection, and so they would basically take it out. You see them going in and collecting. They were collecting from certain individuals, like businesses and stuff. It showed that in the movie. But that's what they did. They offered protection. They were gangsters. They were mafia. And
The
That's how
mafia,
they make.
the mafia, like I get so confused over like over this kind of stuff. It's like I'm like there's there's too much details to it, and that's why for some reason I always get confused when I watch movies like this, and I always get so lost and confused,
Yeah,
and they're always so long too. Like I have never seen The Godfather, and I probably
yeah,
should at some point. But because it's a classic, and one of these days I'm gonna just sit down and do it. But it's like I don't know, because everybody goes on and on what a classic it is. But now who did that one? I wonder. Is that him? Is that a Michael Scorsese film or
what is it?
The Godfather?
I don't know. I'm not sure. It might be.
I'm gonna check it out.
Um, I'm not sure.
I wanted and right now I'm just kind of looking through some of the Rotten Tomatoes Irishman stuff, but it's seeing what people are saying about it. Very few, everything's pretty much 5 and 4 stars. I gave it a 4 stars just because for me, my only issue with it was it just was a little long and confusing for me. Just
Oh yeah,
you know, um,
I've given it 5 stars.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think that this was well done.
Mhm.
The acting was superb. The direction was superb. The the sound, everything. Like
What you think of what did you think of Ray Romano in it as the lawyer?
I
he
thought, wow.
he was totally different for
I
I had
totally believed who he was
I
in the
know
movie.
they
I
needed
didn't think
Saul
that they
Goodman though.
framed, you know,
Yeah,
yeah.
I hadn't seen him in forever. And another thing, and I wanted to mention too, uh, Joe Pesci, he had been in retirement. Now I want to see how long he's been in retirement. Just 1 second.
Yes, he had been in retirement.
How
That's correct.
many years?
It wasn't, it was unofficial.
Years since last movie. Trying to figure it out. So Joe, now just give me 1 second because it'll be pretty actually easy to find out how because all I have to do is look at a movie before this one. Okay, so he's been yeah, it's been like 10 years or it's been about 1998 since he's done anything like really big. He's had a few little parts in some other stuff. But it's been so
Yeah.
think about how rare it is to see somebody who hasn't done a movie in a long time to come out and pull off this move, like come right into it again and out of some retirement. It's very rare that usually people can come back and get right back into the groove of things. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
and he not only came out of retirement, he like he just came out with in a vengeance. You know what I mean? Like he did an amazing job. He
Yes.
I couldn't believe how that it was not like totally different character too. Even though he was playing a bad guy, he was you
Yes.
still liked him in this because normally he plays like a villain that you don't even really like Home
Hmm.
Alone.
Yeah.
I don't know many Joe Pesci movies. I remember him in. Do you remember him in that Michael Jackson thing? That music video that I watched over and over. That was like, or that long video you guys bought for me, and he he took this girl, and Michael Jackson turned into this big huge robot
Yes.
and attacked
Yeah,
him.
that was played at Disney or something.
And you guys bought me that video, and I can't count how many times I watched that. It wore
Yeah.
out anyway. But Joe Pesci stole this little girl that was friends with Michael Jackson and took her and away from her siblings and her friend. And Michael Jackson was going after him, Joe Pesci was like this, like evil, like he was so evil in that, and he was good in that, and that was terrible. It was just
Yeah.
terrible, but I loved it anyway. I was just a little
Now, I
kid.
can tell you a movie that if you wanted to sort of extend this a little bit with what you saw on on this movie, okay? Have you ever seen the movie Scarface?
No, I don't think so.
Okay,
Let
it's
me
an
look
Al
it up.
Pacino movie, and from 1983, and you probably really like this movie. Like this is kind of action packed. It's brutal, but
Scarface. I don't think I have it. The name sounds familiar. I mean, I know that I've heard this name like a
watch
lot
the
of times.
movie. Like seriously, watch that movie. I don't know. Maybe I don't know, even know if Ronnie would have watched that movie. Um, but
He's so young.
you'll get a very good perspective of this gangster. It's exceptional. Well, it's one of Malcolm's favorite movies.
Malcolm? Really?
Yeah,
My Malcolm is would be my uncle and Kevin's
yeah,
brother. Yeah. Really,
yeah,
I'll have to check the yeah, 'cause I really do love love the Al Pacino ones I see. Did you ever see? Oh yeah, did you ever see Taxi Driver? That's like I think that's Robert De Niro. Taxi.
hmm
Did you ever see Taxi Driver?
No, yes, I have.
1976.
Yes, I
And
have.
that Martin Scorsese movie with Robert De Niro, Jodie Foster, Sybil Shepherd.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Now, the one that did The Godfather, I think, is Francis Ford Coppola.
Godfather. Just, I'm gonna look that up too. Godfather. I keep on hearing people like it's got so many people saying it's so boring, and some people saying it's amazing. Wow, it's got really good reviews too. Director
I'm thinking it's
Francis
Francis
Ford.
Ford Coppola.
Yeah, Francis Ford Coppola.
Yeah, yeah, that's who did that.
Now, who
It wasn't Martin Scorsese.
produced The Irishman? Same.
Pardon me?
I wonder who produced The Irishman. I'm gonna
Well,
check.
that was
Same.
this guy. The Yeah,
I'm checking it out.
Martin Scorsese.
He did both. Huh. So
Yeah.
I've been looking up some videos and stuff of the actual original The Irishman, finding the guy Frank Sheeran, um, just looking up some video of him, and just to see how well of a job Robert De Niro did, just because I wasn't familiar with it,
Yes.
and wow, he's spot on. I mean, Robert De Niro is good in everything. He
Oh
really
yeah.
is. There isn't anything bad. Even those Meet the Focker movies, like you ever watch
Yes.
those? He's
Yes.
amazing in those. Like
Yes, he is. He's funny as all get out.
I love him. He can be funny, he can be serious, he can be anything. And yeah,
Yeah.
he's good. So yeah, for me, I'm gonna give this one out of five. Probably maybe a 4.5. Just because literally it was that was the longness was just enough to pull me away from it a little bit. But I know that it could not had another choice but to be that long, or because you really can't take anything out.
No. No.
And you said
And
you
see,
give
for
it a
me,
five?
if I really like a movie, I very seldom give a movie a three or whatever. I don't. And because if it's a three, I probably hate the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And so I either
Me
like
too.
it or I hate it.
Yeah,
It's
me.
one.
I'm like that too. It's either, but there might be some little thing about it, but other than that, I have very strong feelings towards it.
Yeah.
In The Irishman, but I was glad that I got a chance to watch it a second time, because if I hadn't have, I wouldn't have been able to. Like I picked up on so much stuff that I didn't notice the first time around. It's definitely something that most people should watch twice, even if you think you know what you're if you liked it, I'd recommend watching it at 12, going around to it again. I do, before we wrap this up, I have some stuff just to talk about. Some channel updates. So I changed my name. So I was back in the day when I was trying to decide my channel name. I was like, didn't know whether or not I wanted to go with the Megan Young Show or Nerd Talk. But for some reason, I thought there was like lots of other ones named Nerd Talk, but there wasn't. So plus I wanted something really quick, easier to say, and just something that's easy for people to find. And so I changed my channel name. So if you're looking for me now, it's under just Nerd Talk with a exclamation point at the end. And also, so Kevin is no longer going to be just a guest on the show. He's now just going to be a partner on it. So he's just going to be a regular. He can now do his I giving him access to the channel, so he can just come in and do his own videos if he wants to anytime, just whatever. So he's no longer just a guest. He's just a permanent person I'm able to review and just so you're just stuck with me now. But yeah,
Yeah.
we have fun. So and people seem to like him as well. He because they don't really know him that well yet. So we'll give him some
Yeah, they
time.
don't know me.
We'll just give him some time. So yes, he's now a partner in the show, and we are starting a new segment once a month. We're going to be doing a Throwback Thursday. So we're going to take turns picking either just a movie or a series that's more than a decade old on one Thursday a month, and just have a live stream talking about what we like and don't like about it. And we're just taking turns picking one. And so, uh, yeah, you're picking first. So you picked Gone with the Wind. So we're
Yeah,
starting that. We're going to do that next week. Not this Thursday coming, but the Thursday after. And
yeah,
our next review, we're not 100% sure of when that's going to be yet, but we're doing Knives Out. So,
yes.
so anyway,
I just
uh,
haven't watched it yet, so
what?
you know.
Yeah, me neither.
I, yeah.
I haven't watched it
Okay.
yet either, so whenever we get a chance to watch it, that will be our next review. And also coming out this month is the new Star Trek, not Star Trek, Star Wars, Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. So super pumped to see that one. That's coming out this month.
Yeah.
Um, all right, so we're gonna wrap this up now. So I will talk. So I will hang out. I'll let you go there to hang up with you. So
Yeah.
thanks for coming on.
No problem.
We'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye bye. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We will be on in probably tomorrow because I want to get a review in of the new trailer that just dropped for uh, Black Widow. So I'm super pumped about that. I might have a chance to come on tonight, but I probably not. So I'll see. I'll try to get on within the next couple days. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching.